Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the week of September 1st. We're going to jump right in here. You have this water card. It says emotions are at their peak. You have this Caduceus card. It says you will receive news from afar. It does seem to be like a little bit of an emotional week. So, I would, don't. What I've said to others, what I should say, is that we should be avoiding things like, road rage, freaking out at people, don't create any arguments in the home and things like that. It just seems to be a bad time for that. I would honestly say the entire month of September, maybe even October as well. It's like the next couple months, these eclipses, all this other stuff going on. It might, it's like a time where cooler heads will prevail, right? So, it might just be a good time to be calm, cool, collected, which, I don't necessarily think you have a hard time with here, Capricorn. And look, it is a very good reading. So, definitely a lot of positivity coming up here anyway. But, like I said, it's like you can't always control other people, obviously. So, if other people are freaking out and causing problems, it would just be a good time to keep a cool head, right? In your first row for your current general energies, you have the Lovers, the Five of Swords, and the World. This to me, sure, this could be love, and you do have good love cards. You have been getting good love stuff with me lately. But I would also say that, this could be a new path for some of you, or kind of like a new direction. It looks to me like a new direction that you're committing to again, is what I feel like saying. It's kind of fun. Like, I try to pull myself out of these readings when I do them, obviously, but it is kind of funny because, obviously I have a ton of Capricorn in my chart. And I'm not a Capricorn, but I might as well be. And like every asteroid in my chart is in Capricorn, but not literally, but kind of. And but it's kind of funny because like lately I've been thinking about like committing to something I was working on in the past, but just like in a different way. You know what I mean? Like committing to a long-term project. What I would say is I would blame Saturn for this because Saturn is retrograding. Saturn is your ruling planet, and even though it's retrograding not into your sign, it's retrograding into Pisces. You have this Pisces card here. But what I would say is, Saturn being your ruling planet, it makes sense to me that you would be thinking about like, kind of like revisiting a path that you have visited, that you have maybe been down before in the past. And, I don't know. I think it could be very good for you here, Capricorn. You have the Ten of Pentacles. So, like I said, if this involves money or work or business, it looks very positive to me. What I would say is with Saturn retrograde, it's like you're going to have to like make the full commitment, which I'm pretty sure I said in your September reading. It's like you can't just say that you're going to do it and like not go all the way. You know what I mean? So it's like you really have to commit. But, it could be very good. Could be good for love as well, of course. You have the Five of Swords. Yeah, it is risk-taking time for you, Capricorn. I think I've said this before as well. Any big risks that you can take right now are probably going to be very, very beneficial, especially if these risks involve moving, kind of going against the grain, is what I would say. Like if you're doing something that goes against conventional wisdom, that is innovative or different, if you're thinking about, kind of taking your life in a unique, eccentric direction or different direction, all those things would be very good for you right now and will probably help you stand out. Again, you have to remember, Pluto going over the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, which is probably, the biggest thing you'll ever experience in your lifetime. And so a lot of you, it's like you could be kind of like starting to make these big changes. And again, it could take a while because Pluto is very slow moving. Pluto is also retrograde. Pluto will only retrograde back to about like 1.3 degrees of Aquarius. So, it retrogrades right to the beginning of Aquarius, basically. And then it goes direct in October or whatever it is. I think it's October 14th or something. Don't quote me on that. But what I would say is when it goes direct, it's kind of funny also. Sorry that I'm babbling in this reading, but I'm getting a lot of stuff for you here, Capricorn. And I feel like around October, I think you're literally going to feel that move as well. The Pluto going direct, like maybe mid-October. Maybe it might be, a little bit later. It might be the end of October or something. because Pluto's very slow moving. But I literally feel you're going to feel the shift of that Pluto moving forward. I'm also getting here, like I said, I'm getting a million messages for you for whatever reason, but I'm also getting, like, if there is something hidden, just looking at some of the stuff that's going on here, it's like if there's something hidden, like you, and this is very Plutonian, by the way. It's like, Pluto is very much hidden in some ways. So, like, if there is anything hidden that you've been trying to get an answer on, you could be getting answers on things around that time that have, like, that have been a mystery for you. Let's put it that way. You show up as the world. The world could be Capricorn, and so you show up in a very strong position here. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength. The world can also be like some sort of accomplishment, so I do feel that there could be some accomplishments coming in for you, especially for those of you that have been putting in the work. If you are committing to a path as well, like a road that you've been down before, but you're doing it in a different way, very good. With the lovers, you have the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I mean, happy home, happy family. Very good for love, all this. So if you want a connection, there you go. It definitely could lead to marriage. I mean, we have the Hierophant right here. So Ten of Cups is happy home, happy family. Ten of Cups is also fortune after difficulty. I'm wondering if you're getting an answer right now. I don't know. I get this weird message of, like, something coming to light. That's basically what I was just saying with the whole Pluto thing, something that's hidden. I don't think it's, like, literally hidden. I think it's just maybe some of you have been dealing with a little bit of a mystery. I think it could be in any area of your life. And, but kind of what I'm getting here is that maybe the solution is a process, And so it's like, let's say, I'm not a doctor, but let's say you have a health issue. It's like, sometimes it's like, to heal, it's like we have to go through the process of healing. It like takes some time. So if you're getting an answer to anything right now, especially in this first row, it might be something that takes like a month or two to really kind of kick in. But I don't know. I feel pretty good about it, Capricorn. It's like that's a very specific message, but it's like you're getting a solution, or you're solving the problem, right? With the Five of Swords, you have the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is carrying a heavy burden. Ten of Wands says we have to lighten the load sometimes. I like the Ten of Wands because he's about to reach his home in the background here, but again, he is being burdened, and he does have to release those burdens to be successful. So, he's very close to reaching his goal, but again, he could lighten the load. He could make this easier on himself, and if he let go of like other people's issues and things. So, I would think about that. With the World, you have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is a card of stability. It is a card of abundance as well. He's creating abundance with his skills. So a lot of you could be increasing your abundance. You do have the Ten of Pentacles here. You also have the King and Queen of Pentacles, which are like divine counterparts. So definitely could be a divine counterpart coming in for you. I think you always get these two, and I always talk about how boring they are, though, Capricorn, is what I would say. So, I don't know, I feel like I've said this to you a couple of times. I feel like it's like these two need more spiciness, it's like not spicy enough. So, something, I don't know, we'll figure it out one of these days, right? Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Pisces card. It says boundaries. It says set and honor your boundaries to avoid being taken advantage of. Nine of Wands. You have the Nine of Wands here, definitely true. You have this divine intervention. It says angels are working behind the scenes to assist in the miracles you've requested. Ten of Cups. You have the Ten of Cups and the Sun. Like, you have a Ten of Cups sandwich right here with the Sun right in the middle. So, definitely could be some miracles coming in for you if you've been requesting a miracle. And that could be like getting to the bottom of a mystery. The Sun shines a light on things. So you could literally be getting answers to something that you've been dealing with, or, any problems or challenges or difficulties you've been dealing with, you could be solving with the Sun card. I do feel like you need to focus more on happiness and, kind of like lighthearted, playful energy. I know I've said this to you before, but, it's like, they say, I've also said to you before, Capricorn, they say that Capricorn ages in reverse, or at least you're supposed to. It's like your job is to get younger as you get older. And that's usually what happens with Capricorn. Usually, Capricorns that work with the energy, they look younger as they get older. They, age in reverse. But again, as far as your emotions are concerned and things like that, like, you're meant to be, not take life too seriously. And so, as a person myself who has a Capricorn stellium, it's like, I don't know, I was like very serious as a kid, number one. Like, I had no imagination when I was younger because I was too serious. And, also my whole entire life, that's like the thing that has held me back, is taking things too seriously, right? Caring too much about stuff, which you might be saying, what we're supposed to care about things. It's like, yeah, but not too much, right? It's like we have to allow some flexibility. So I kind of feel like the sun is saying that. Like, I don't think it's a criticism or anything. I think the sun is just saying, like, hey, make sure you're having some fun at this time. Make sure you're doing some things that you enjoy doing. I was thinking about this last night. I've been taking a class based off a hobby I have, and I've been taking this class every single Monday, and it's been great for me. Number one, I've met like a ton of people. It's been fun and all that other stuff. But before I started the class, I was having like a little bit of a health issue that turned out to be basically nothing. But you know what was really funny that I was thinking about is that, like, while I was the class is like 4 hours every single night, right? Every Monday. And, when I first started it, I was having this, like, health issue. But when I was in the class, the health issue didn't exist, right? It was, like, gone. It was like I was perfectly fine. It's like sometimes I think, basically our body tells us the answer, right? It's like maybe my body was saying, like, hey, you haven't been having fun for, like, 10 years. And you haven't done anything for yourself. Maybe this is a solution, right? So it's like sometimes I think we, need to pay attention to things that bring us joy, because it's like maybe that is the release we need. Maybe that is the thing that kind of, solves a problem, right? So I don't know, just something to think about. You have the Hierophant. If you're meeting a person, could be marriage. So, if you're looking for love, this could be like a marriage connection. I kind of feel like something about leveling up here, Capricorn. He has these 3 levels to his crown and his staff right here. They represent the 3 stages of initiation, which is initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. So a lot of you could be going on the journey of like mastering your craft or mastering a skill. You have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands, like the Wounded Warrior. Nine of Wands is really a card of boundaries, so I do think it would be a good time for you to set boundaries with everything at this time. I think it would be a good time with that sun to put yourself first, which that kind of came up for all the earth signs this week. So, I don't know, it might be like a collective earth energy that it would just be, and I'm pretty sure I said this to you in your September reading as well. You specifically had this in September, so something to think about. Yeah, with the sun, here you go. You in a person. You in the Knight of Cups, a knight in shining armor, showing up here, Capricorn. So definitely could be a love connection coming in for you. I think I said this to you as well. It's funny because, the devil can be Capricorn. If you want to be super technical about it, the devil is Saturn in Capricorn. But whatever, it can be Capricorn, right? And, but I think I said this to you last time, that it's almost like you could be dealing with, it's like you and a person need to release something from the past. So if you're dealing with a person right now, I would make sure of that, plain and simple, but definitely could be a knight in shining armor. With the Hierophant, yes, you have the Fool. I think this is the secret sauce for Capricorn for the next, like, several years until, like, yeah, literally 2028, I would say. Maybe even longer. Maybe till the end of Uranus and Gemini, 2033. It's like being willing to look like a fool. That is the risk the fool has to take. But that, he is taking a leap of faith. And people might be saying, you're nuts, fool, or you are crazy, or you are going to look like a fool. But anyone who's done anything significant in life has, taken that risk, right? Anyone who has done anything important has taken the risk of, and anyone who's done anything important has been called a fool, right? And so sometimes I think of the Fool as like Icarus, it's like, yeah, flying too close to the sun. But sometimes it's like we have to fly too close to the sun. Like maybe, is it a bad thing, right? If you follow the story of Icarus, and yeah, maybe it is a bad thing. But sometimes sometimes getting burned is like a good thing in some ways. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. Probably not. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Judgment card. Yeah, it's like, Judgment is like a wake-up call sometimes. I do feel like some of you could be experiencing a little bit of a wake-up call. Not like a bad one. It's just like you could be feeling a little bit of pressure, which again makes sense with Saturn retrograde. Saturn retrograde can make you, especially Capricorn, feel a little bit like you're running out of time, or like there isn't enough time, or you're not going to have time, or you're not going to be able to do something, right? And so some of you, it's like the pressures of time. Like I said, is this bad? No, only if you make it bad. It's like I think that it's kind of like one of those things where it's like it depends on like where you are coming from. Like I don't think the universe is so serious. Like I always make the joke Chris is crappy astrology, right? And I get tons of people that say you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't speak negatively, which I understand where they're coming from, but at the same time I know it's a joke. So it's like the universe isn't gonna punish me for saying that because I know it's just a joke, right? Like I don't take it seriously, right? Why is this popping to my head? I don't know. But again, Nine of Wands with this Judgment card is saying to me, to you, that it's like, you don't have to take things so seriously, or, I don't know where I was going with that here, Capricorn, but, again, I think there could be like a wake-up call, but the pressure of time is where I was going with that, right? And it's like, I think what matters is how you use it. If you are distressed and anxious and all that other stuff and restless with that energy, then bad, right? But I think if you transmute the energy and use it to that pressure of time constructively, then things will be fine, right? And so it's like, that's the difference, right? And, I hope that makes sense. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this releasing card and this take a breath card. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You probably do need to take a breath. I do feel like a lot of, here, energy, upper chest energy. It's like, that tension energy maybe. And maybe some breathing exercises or something like that would be good for you to, like, release that tension. I think maybe you're catching yourself being like this. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes I think when we are tense, we are pulled in, right? And we need to like open up your shoulders and things like that as well. So I don't know, kind of a weird thing to pop into my head, but there you go. It might be a good time to like release that stuff. You have the Ten of Cups, the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Cups is, happy home, happy family, fortune after difficulty. Really good for love if you want it. Really good for pretty much anything whatever you want. Doesn't matter. So, could be a lot of blessings coming in for you with the Ten of Cups. Could be a lot of happiness and joy and, all that. And I would definitely focus on happiness and joy with that card. You have the Six of Swords. Six of Swords moving on to calmer shores. So, definitely could be some improvements coming in for you. Seems to me like it's a good time for you to focus on improvements, Capricorn. Like, I think you know what to do. It's like, I don't know how to explain how I feel to you here. It's almost like, I feel like some of you, it's like, imagine if you were like, Einstein, basically, but it's like but you also were doubting yourself. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if Einstein doubted himself, right? It's like, that's how I feel for you sometimes. And that's how I feel on the Six of Swords. It's like, I think you are thinking about moves that you want to make in your life. Fool, this card. Hierophant, you want to level up. Judgment, you're being called to something higher. But I get this feeling of like doubting yourself too much, or, like needing, like if you knew that you knew everything, how would you act? If you knew you couldn't screw up, what would you do right now, right? And that's kind of what the Six of Swords is saying to me. I know that's not what the Six of Swords means, but, I read intuitively, that's what I'm getting. You have the Ten of Pentacles, which is like everything you want and desire in your life. So with the Ten of Pentacles, it's a card of building, leaving a legacy, which, obviously doesn't happen overnight. But, if you put the work in to create this, I think things will go very well for you. So I would be putting in the work to build or leave some sort of legacy. I think that's a little bit of a trick for you with Saturn as well, retrograding into Pisces, plus Neptune there. I didn't even say this. Like, the most critical part of that whole transit, Saturn, retrograding into Pisces, is that at exactly the same freaking time, Neptune is practically retrograding at exactly the same time. Not exactly the same time, but within a month of each other, basically. They're both going to be entering back into Pisces. And next year, same thing. Within a month of each other, they both move back into Aries. I think it is no mistake that this is happening. We all, especially you, I think, need to work on, something permanent that you create in your life, because it'll probably be good. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, some sort of victory, some sort of win going on here. So I do think there could be a win, just in life in general, which is great. Today, what is today? The 26th. Well, I was going to talk about the 24th, but obviously I didn't realize that we're 2 days past the 24th. But what I would say, Capricorn, is the 24th was kind of a weird lucky day, but also bad in some ways, which is interesting. It was kind of a weird day, and there could be some of that luck still hanging around. This video will be published on the 27th. I would say even if you're watching this just before the eclipse on the 7th of September, that there could be if you feel like you want to take a lucky chance or a lucky shot, on something, now might be a time for you to do that. With the Six of Swords, you have the Six of Swords. Basically the universe saying I meant what I said. Whenever this happens to me, it's, confirmation for the message. So there you go. With the Ten of Pentacles, you have the World here twice in your reading. All three Earth signs this week have had multiple repeating cards. Ten of Cups, World, Six of Swords twice. Kind of interesting. Whenever there's more than a few repeating cards, to me, it's like major confirmation for what you're doing. It's like the universe is kind of, patting you on the back or, kind of like guiding you forward. It's almost like the universe has its hand on your shoulder and it's kind of like pushing you forward here. And I kind of feel that. I also feel it's just confirmation. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this intuition card and this prepare card. Yeah, we are in a very intuitive time, so I think we all, if something pops into your head, you're probably right. You probably are, it probably is your intuition. I think this is mostly true for everyone. And again, this is Neptune and Pisces. Even though Neptune isn't in Pisces yet, it will be soon enough. So, again, I mean, we're very, very close. Even today, I was just looking at the chart, and Neptune is at 3 degrees of Aries, retrograding back and, on its way back into Pisces. So it is a very slow-moving planet, but it'll be there before you know it. So, I think we need to trust our intuition for sure. You have the Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Now, one thing about 3 queens, right? 3 queens in the tarot together represents jealousy and gossip. It's showing up in the good stuff. So, would I worry about this? Probably not. But, it is popping into my head, if you're... but you should probably put up boundaries, right? You have the Pisces card that says boundaries on it. You have the Nine of Wands, which is a great card of boundaries. I also think you need to protect something, especially if over the next few months, let's say you find love, because you have been getting these great love readings. It might be a connection that's worth protecting, and there could be a lot of jealous people as well around the situation, which I feel like I've said to you before, Capricorn, if I'm not mistaken. It could be another Earth sign. It could be any sign. You have basically everything here. I mean, you have Capricorn, you have Gemini, you have Water, you have Taurus, you have Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and Leo, and Capricorn again. You have Taurus twice, right? So, I don't know. I just listed all 12 signs. But, again, it could be something you want to protect. I didn't even talk about this. Queen of Swords is about seeing things clearly. We are in a time of clarity, especially this month. There is something about these 2 eclipses. On the 7th, we have Pisces. On the 21st, we have the Virgo eclipse. And all the September readings, we're talking about sudden insights. Eclipses have a lot to do with fate and, fated events and fated happenings. So, yeah, I guess it makes sense that there could be some fated things happening. Or clarity. You have the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is about following your heart, right? We have to follow our heart with the Queen of Cups, and, that's what I would listen to the most. She really values what her heart wants, and that's it. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is about resourcefulness and tapping into your resources, so I do think it would be an amazing time for you to tap into your resources or use your resources for success. She is Capricorn as well. So I would use your, I think whenever you show up as yourself, it kind of puts you in a position of power and strength. You show up in this reading 4 times. You have the World twice, you have the Devil, and the Queen of Pentacles. With the Queen of Swords, you have the 8 of Pentacles. Yes, very good. I'm telling you right now, I said something about a path, picking a path that you've been down before, but doing it differently. This could definitely be money or financially related, but you have to make the full commitment. He's also diligently working towards something, right? He's doing something day in, day out. Definitely something I would focus on. I'll just tell you, Capricorn. So what I've been, I had a podcast a couple of years ago. I've actually had several podcasts in my life. It's I started a podcast before I started this channel, believe it or not, over 10 years ago. If I had just stuck with it, who knows where I would be. And I was thinking about this the other day. I started a podcast 3 years ago now on my Chris Rock channel. I interviewed a couple of people. If I just stuck with it, I would be 3 years in already, right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like I just did that the other day, you know? So it's kind of like one of those things where the Eight of Pentacles says you have to stick with something to get the result. And even if it takes 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, guess what? And, you know, I just said this to someone else as well, that, you know, one of my favorite quotes, I can't remember if it's Brian Tracy or someone else, but one of those guys, it might be Brian Tracy, but it could be Jim Rohn as well, says, you know, in 5 years, it'll be 5 years anyway, right? So meaning that, you know, everybody always complains like, oh, I have to put 5 years into this, but it's like, yeah, but in 5 years, it'll be 5 years anyway. So it's like, why not get something for that time? And, you know, I feel like the Eight of Pentacles is saying that. And I also think this reading is saying it's not even going to take you that long. Here you go. Thank God. You know, with the Queen of Cups, it seems to me like the King of Wands always comes in and saves the day. Again, these two, it's like they're too, you know, I don't know. There's not enough spiciness in the connection between the King and Queen of Pentacles. So we need something like this to, you know, kind of spice it up, which is good. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have the Justice card, and you have the Nine of Wands wanted to fall out into my lap there. So the the Justice card is balance, cause, and effect. The Nine of Wands, of course, what you have twice here is boundaries. So, you know, obviously you need to set certain boundaries at this time to make sure that things go well. You have this Ear card. It says good news on it. Ace of Swords can be good news, so definitely could be some good news. You have this Dolphin card. It says, you cannot make this up. Financial gain usually coming from something you did in the past. Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is material success on the horizon. But it basically can say you're making money or you're earning something for work that you've already done. So, you know, again, the whole revisiting a path thing, I'm telling you right now, I would do it. I think it'll be good for you, Capricorn. You have this Torch. It says spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. It is a very spiritual time, so everybody's doing this right now. You have this May card and this Shark card. It says take care or will be loss of material wealth. I would say till March. I'm cheating a little bit for sure because, you know, I know what your astrology is, Capricorn, until March. But I would just say that until March, you know, it's like, don't be paranoid. Don't be worried about this. There's no reason to worry. I just think it's saying, don't spend all your money in one place. You know, don't burn a hole in your pocket. If you do that, you'll be fine. You have this Tortoise card. It says slowly but surely getting ahead. Yeah, I mean, definitely, I think it's been very slow. Pluto in your sign for last 20 years of your life, basically 19 years. So, you know, Pluto spends only a little time, technically, on the cosmic scale in Capricorn. You know, Pluto actually spends 30 years in Taurus. So, you know, some people get screwed with Pluto even longer than 19 years. So, yeah, I think that it's been slow. But now you're getting ahead, which is good. This looks really good here, Capricorn. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.